Welcome to our final episode of Pharmatech Frontiers. I'm Ritika with Muhammad Aslam for our concluding exploration of cutting edge pharmaceutical sciences. Muhammad, as we look towards the future, right? So, how are all these technologies such as AI, nanotech, genomics, network medicine converging to create something entirely new, something never heard of?
Mhm. Yeah, actually, what's really exciting is how these technologies are no longer advancing in isolation, but converging. So, for example, AI gives us the power to mine massive data sets, while genomics provide the blueprint of disease, and network medicine reveals the complex interaction driving health and illness. And add to nanotechnology, which will deliver drugs with precision and suddenly we have a toolkit that greater than the sum of its parts. The synergy in the is in integrated platforms, so systems can predict the drug effects, design tailored nanoparticles to deliver it, and personalize the treatment based on patient's genome and network profile. So this is pushing us towards entirely new paradigms in the pharmaceutical science, where discovery, development, delivery are all data driven, interconnected, and patient specific.
Right. So coming into quantum computing, right, it is moving from theory to reality. So how might quantum algorithms that were being previously produced revolutionize molecular simulation and drug design?
Quantum computing is the beginning to move from theory into practice, and its potential impact on drug discovery is enormous. So, one exciting application we can say is molecular simulation. So, quantum algorithm can model electronic structures and molecular dynamics far more accurately than classical computers, helping predict how drugs bind to protein without layer of trial and error. Then content machine learning is also emerging, processing complex biomedical data to accelerate target identification, drug interaction predictions, and compound screening. So, hybrid approaches combining classical and quantum computing are already being tested in early stage of chemistry and biology. So, while fully scalable quantum computers are still on horizon, so expert expect a meaningful application in the next 5 to 10 years.
Right. So what about quantum sensors, for ultra sensitive biomarker detection? And how could this change the realm of pharmaceutical research?
Quantum sensors are much emerging as a groundbreak tool in the biomedical research. So, by exploiting quantum properties like superposition and entanglement, these devices can measure biological signals with extraordinary precision. So, in pharmaceuticals, that means ultra sensitive biomarker detection, far beyond what conventional methods allow. So they could detect single molecules like disease markers or drug metabolites in the blood at extremely even low concentrations. So it will enable the real-time monitoring of how a patient processes a medication. So the potential of personalized medicine is huge. So clinicians could adjust drug dosing continuously based on the individual's unique biomarker profile. So this will make the therapies much safer and effective.
Right. Let's talk about digital twin and virtual patients, right? So, digital twin technology is being applied to human physiology. How might virtual patient transform clinical trials and drug development?
This one, digital twin technology, which creating computational replicas of human physiology, is starting to transform drug development. So, using physiologically based pharmacokinetics or PK models, researchers can simulate how a drug is absorbed, distributed, metabolized, or eliminated. So scaling this up to into virtual patients allow in silico clinical trials to test dosing, predicting variability, and flag safety issues long before real trials. So population level simulations with the thousands of digital twins reflecting different genetics, age, or disease states can optimize protocols, reduce cost, and improve the safety. So regulatory agencies like FDA and EMA are embracing in silico evidence, especially for rare disease or pediatrics. In future, hybrid trials combining digital and physical approaches may become the standard in drug development.
Right. So, how could we create personalized digital twins for individual patients, and what data would that, be needing from the sides of the people running such kind of trials?
Personalized digital twins are virtual models of individuals' biology that evolve alongside them. So researchers start by integrating multi-omics data like in genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, and metabolomics to capture a patient molecular blueprint. So real-time updates from the lab test, imaging, and a wearable device refine the twin, reflecting day-to-day physiological changes like heart rate, glucose, or sleep pattern. So clinically, this allows physician to test treatment strategy virtually before applying them, optimizing drug dose, anticipating the side effects, or designing combination therapies. So over time, personalized digital twins could enable truly dynamic, individualized medicine and adapting therapy to each patient's unique biology in real time.
Right. So now coming into synthetic biology, which is enabling designing of several biological systems. So now how might we engineer cells to become the next generation of therapeutics?
Synthetic biology is creating a new class of medicines. Like engineered cells are therapeutics, cells as therapeutics. So CAR T cells therapy is the prime example for it. So reprogramming a patient's immune cell to target and destroy cancer with a remarkable success in certain leukemias and lymphomas. So, beyond cancer, researchers are developing engineered probiotics that uh, secrete beneficial molecules in the gut and programmable cells that sense disease signals like high glucose or inflammation and release the drugs only when it is required. So ultimately, engineered cells could become smart adaptive medicines, living systems that can detect, respond, and heal in ways traditional drugs simply can't match.
Right. So, what about biological circuits that can sense diseases and respond automatically? How close are we to that kind of programmable medicine? Do you think?
Synthetic biology is bringing up closer to programmable medicine by creating biological circuits that sense disease signals and respond automatically. These circuits act like tiny computers inside the cells. So, biosensors detect the cues such as high glucose, inflammation, or tumor proteins, and trigger a programmed therapeutic response. So, this enables closed loop systems delivering treatment precise when and where it is needed. So, for example, engineered beta cells release insulin when only glucose is high, so mimicking the body's natural feedbacks. And platforms like CRISPR based switches and modular gene circuit are making these systems more reliable and customizable. So while fully programmable medicine isn't there yet, these foundations could transform therapy into self-regulating intelligent system within the next decade.
Right. So, as space exploration advances, how do you think microgravity, radiation can affect drug development and pharmacology.
Yeah, as we look towards long duration space mission, like space pharmacology is becoming a critical field. So microgravity or cosmic radiations don't just affect astronauts, they also impact how drugs are stored, metabolized, and delivered. So one challenge is drug stability in space. So radiations and altered storage conduits and can degrade pharmaceutical more quickly and shortening their shelf life. Then there are even physiological changes in astronauts, like microgravity alters fluid distribution, kidney function, liver metabolism, and even the gut microbe. So all these can change how drugs are absorbed, distributed, eliminated. Means the complete ATME properties. And at the same time, microgravity offers unique research opportunities like growing protein crystals or modeling disease in space can reveal insight impossible to capture on Earth, potentially accelerating drug discovery.
Right. So, could extreme environments on Earth provide insights for drug discovery? What about, deep sea or high altitude research?
Extreme environments on Earth, like as you mentioned, deep sea or high altitude regions, are turning out to be rich sources of insight for drug discovery. So, organisms that survive in these harsh settings, called extremophiles, have evolved unique biomolecules and a metabolic pathway that can inspire new therapies. For example, in deep sea, microbes exposed to high pressure and low light produce novel antibiotics and anti-cancer compounds that aren't found in the surface organism. Similarly, studying population at a high altitude helps to understand how the body adapts to low oxygen level and all. So those insights are pointing towards new treatment for hypoxia related condition like stroke and pulmonary hypertension when it comes to the altitude case and low oxygen level. So these environments also act as stress models. So by examining how life copes with the radiation, pressure, or oxygen deprivation, research can identify pathways that might be targeted in human diseases. So this adaptation mechanism from protective enzyme to usual membrane structure often translate into novel therapeutic approaches.
Right. So, how can we ensure these advanced technologies, benefit global health, not just that the wealthy are getting wealthier? So, yeah, that kind of holistic approach.
Hello.
Yes.
Uh, could you please fuse the section?
Sorry.
Uh, could you please pause the section? So one of the biggest challenges ahead in ensuring advanced technology benefit global health, not just wealthy nations. So breakthroughs like gene therapies and AI-driven drug discovery are expensive and infrastructure heavy. So cost-effective innovation is essential, whether through low-cost diagnostics, simplified delivery platforms, or AI optimizing assisting generic drugs. So technology transfer is uh, key, sharing knowledge and tools with low and middle income countries. Equitable access also requires collaboration between governments and NGOs, academia, and industry to make pricing, supply chains, and IP policies inclusive.
Right. So, coming into final reflections, so looking back at our entire series, what do you think will be the, most transformative development in pharmaceutical sciences?
Yeah, we began with AI and now a copilot in drug discovery. So predicting interactions and cutting timeline from years to months. So we know AI plays a crucial roles to to get a molecule into market like within few months instead of going for 5 to 10 years. Then system pharmacology and network medicine reveals that disease isn't about single target but entire networks, so helping explain drug success, failure, and repurposing opportunities. Then we talk about nanomedicine has made delivery smarter and personalized, crossing the blood-brain barrier, carrying mRNA or a CRISPR, and responding to pH, enzymes, or lights. And lipid nanoparticles from COVID-19 vaccines are now expanding into cancer and gene therapy, while gold, silica, and magnetic particles add few more functions. So then emerging frontiers like quantum computing, digital twins, synthetic biology are adding unprecedented precision, but ethics and equity remain central, ensuring privacy, fairness, and global access. So the next decade will see more convergent platforms like AI design nanoparticles, quantum algorithms refine them, network medicine identifies targets, and digital twins simulate patient response. So medicines will become predictive, adaptive, and deeply personalized, redefining what therapy means for humanity.
Right. So, finally, to close the entire podcast, can you tell us very briefly? So, for the next generation of pharmaceutical scientists, what advice would you give based on everything that we have discussed?
To the next generation of pharmaceutical scientists, the future will be shaped by those who can think across disciplines. Don't limit yourself to one field. Combine pharmacology with the data science, AI, nanotechs, and genomics. So focus on building a broad skill set. But remember, you don't have to master everything. What matters most is your ability to collaborate, to connect with the expert in the other areas, and to translate between disciplines. So stay adaptable. Technologies like quantum computing and synthetic biology will transform our field, and your greatest strength will be learning and pivoting as new tools emerge. So be curious, be fearless, and be collaborative.
Okay, so Mohammad Aslam, thank you for this incredible journey through this cutting edge of pharmaceutical sciences. Insights from your studies have illuminated the exciting future of our field. That concludes Pharmatech Frontiers. Thank you all for joining us as we explore the revolutionary technologies transforming drug discovery from AI to quantum computing to synthetic biology and beyond. So until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of pharmaceutical innovations. Thank you so much.